You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 171. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Spencer Valadez.
And I'm Sean Rue.
Today we're continuing our series of The Walking Dead. We'll talk about Walking Dead Chapter 4, The Heart's Desire. So that covers Walking Dead issues 19 through 24. Written by Robert Kirkman, the art by Charlie Adler and Cliff Rathburn. Comic Reflections is brought to you by Rhymes with Geek. You can find our show, plus many other cool podcasts like the all-new Anti-Fanboy, Super Podcast on Magnifico, and Ultimate Facepalm at rhymeswithgeek.com. And if you enjoy our show, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher.
Yep.
Do it.
Yeah.
Please.
Yes.
You should do all those things.
Yes.
Please.
We should also just kind of get on with it.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
Please.
hey, first panel of Chapter 4, Mushone!
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But we're going to back it up a little bit.
Oh.
First.
Okay.
To remind you guys of what happened previously.
Previously on The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Girl! Girl! Also, the dynamic duo trapped in a giant candle maker. The Riddler. No, wait. Sorry, wrong show.
Wrong show.
I didn't read that part.
Okay.
So, backing up to the last full page splash is Dexter with a shotgun to Rick's head.
Saying
And-
bad swears at him.
Yeah.
Big
swearing
ones.
at him. The big F one. Big fuck word.
Wait, just throw it right out there.
Sorry.
No. You know what? When we do The Walking Dead, it's an NSFW episode.
Right,
So
of
it's just...
So he's telling him to get out of his house. Basically, you're not welcome in this prison anymore. And
You locked me up for no reason.
yeah.
But then again, he has a snake tattoo on the side of his head, so
Right.
he just needs to die.
So kind of moving along a little bit, before we kind of get into the Michonne aspect of this story, which, I mean, it's huge. Let's talk about Rick and Dexter a little bit. So it turns out that Dexter and his crew, Andrew, his little kind of prison boyfriend, were helped by Patricia. They got guns and they got other weapons, and they're kind of armed to the teeth,
Right.
to take out this group, or at least tell them, "Hey, get the hell out of here."
Patricia's Otis's girlfirend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, for a while.
Yeah. We'll get to that.
Right.
For now, yes.
For the time being.
So one thing that I noticed was that Dexter was willing to kill absolutely everyone to protect his his home.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's reminiscent of like what Rick's willing to do. In my perspective,
There are parallels. Is that what you're
Right,
saying?
yeah.
Okay.
So Dexter is helped by Patricia, and Dexter's basically said, "It's either you or me, and I'm not giving up this place without a fight. You can leave and you won't die,
Yay.
or you can stay and we can settle this right now." But Rick is kind of like, Rick's mind's like always moving. He's 3 or 4 steps ahead of pretty much everyone, kind of all the time. Sometimes that comes back and bites him in the ass, but right now he's 3 or 4 steps ahead of everyone. And he's looking around. He's like, "Hey, where'd you get those guns?" And Dexter's like, "We got them from A block." And Rick's like, "Oh yeah, the block we haven't cleared out yet." And so they have to deal with, or Dexter has to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Rick calls him out. He's like, "You got to choose a side." And Dexter has to choose between taking out the zombies, which there's a huge horde of them. I don't want to use the word herd yet, but there's a huge horde.
A whole mess of them.
Yeah.
A whole mess of
out
zombies.
of A block.
Thanks, Dexter.
Yeah. So not only has he already risked his home by letting the zombies out of A block, he's risking his home by challenging Rick.
You know
Let's
what?
be honest.
Here's the thing. Smart people don't go to prison. Okay, let's be honest.
Yeah.
If you were smart, you would be on the outside.
Yeah.
So,
Because either you get away with it.
You wouldn't get caught.
or you were smart enough to not be a criminal.
Right.
So,
I mean, that's a different conversation for them
yeah.
than we should have here.
Yeah.
Then we can get back into, their situation in life. We'll leave that alone.
Look, things inform your decisions.
Absolutely.
But bad decisions are still bad decisions.
Yeah.
But I get it. Circumstances, yo.
So Rick has to kind of take the lead while he has a shotgun against his head, which, I mean, let's be honest, I couldn't do.
No?
No.
Huh, I could.
Really?
No.
And so while Dexter's trying to make his decision, which is taking far too long, in my opinion, Rick gets tossed a gun from Tyreese, and the rest of the group kind of splits off. So the women and children make their way back into the secured part of the prison, and then everyone who's able to fight kind of stands up and starts, taking
Fighting.
out zombies.
Yeah.
So moving kind of along in this kind of story section, Rick has to kind of make a decision at one point. He's in the midst of this massive fight with this huge horde of zombies.
Indeed.
And we have this awesome panel of just his eyes, and they've got this crazy look.
Yeah.
Got that crazy look in your eye, Rick?
Yeah. And everyone's kind of spread out. The zombies are kind of overtaking them a little bit, and Rick decides to make a decision. And then we see Dexter in the next panel with something flying into one side of his head, and blood and brain and gross stuff flying out the other side.
Oh, I think it was a bullet.
Oh,
Oh, that's what that was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where
I
that
could be
came from.
wrong, but
And Rick decides, we figure Rick, I mean, it's the middle of a firefight, stray bullets everywhere.
Yeah.
It's an accident.
But it's a convenient accident
It's a
because
very
Rick knew
convenient
he needed to
accident,
kill
yeah.
the crap out of this guy, and this was a turning point. That's why the look on that panel was intense,
Absolutely.
because Rick was saying, "What, that rule he made up? Oh, you kill, you die."
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we were backpedaling on that pretty quick.
Absolutely.
So
So we have Patricia here. She's crying and kind of grabbing Dexter. Dexter's been shot! And Rick is kind of standing over them, crying in a river. And something we've touched on, but the way that the artists use shadows in this,
yeah,
especially when they want to portray someone who's sad or hurt or angry,
yeah,
a lot of time their face is partially obscured by shadows.
yeah.
And right here, Rick's entire face is totally obscured.
And I think that's really going from the Wally Wood school of those kinds of poses and shading. Like, you've seen the Wally Wood 22 panels that always work.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Really, this is look it up on the Google image. It's great, but it's just a thing that Wally Wood designed to find excellent shortcuts to do really dynamic panels,
Okay.
especially during dramatic stuff where it's not super action heavy.
Right.
I mean, obviously he had ideas for how action worked because he was excellent at that as well. But
Right.
but it's these kinds of things, these kinds of shadowed lines on people's faces, it helps convey a certain effect or emotion, and that's what we're seeing here also. So
Right. So
I just want to give Wally Wood credit wherever I can, anywhere. He's just one of the all-time greats in comics, and his influence is far, far-reaching. So
As we can see.
right. So Dexter is dead. Rick is almost emotionless over this.
I second that emotion.
Um,
You feel like loving me. Oh, sorry.
and they've kind of cleared the horde of zombies that they have. But if you look up one panel, Tyreese is looking over his shoulder right after Rick has shot Dexter. And so Tyreese knows. And tensions with Tyreese and Rick I mean, there's always weird tension there. They're two alphas, I would say.
Word.
And when you got two guys like that, things are
Yeah.
either going to go well
Yeah.
or they're going to go terrible.
I'm
And
trying-
it kind of switches off a little bit sometimes.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember how Rick and Tyreese got along when Tyreese and his sister originally showed up to the prison in the show. Do you remember that?
Oh,
Sasha, Rick and or Tyreese and Sasha,
yeah.
and then her boyfriend or whatever who didn't make it. The guy didn't make it.
If I remember correctly, I mean, I think they were like a lot like the storyline here, where they were very weary of each other. They weren't quick to trust.
Leery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd been with another group, hadn't they?
Yeah.
And then at one point they splinter off to go to Woodbury.
Yeah.
T-Bone.
T-Dog.
T-Dog?
Yeah.
I wish it was T-Bone. I like T-Bone.
Didn't he? I thought T-Dog died
He did.
before
He did.
Tyreese showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But weren't him and Rick in the show? Were they more of a conflict between the two?
No, T-Dog
No.
was a team player. In
Yeah.
fact, he was also kind of really in the background. There were like half the season went by, and you're
Yeah.
like, what was that guy's name again? Like everybody was thinking that.
And then, I mean, towards the end of his run on the show,
He finished strong.
Yeah.
He died a hero.
Yeah.
You
I
remember
that.
T-Dog again? It's like, whoa, they're using this guy a bunch of. Oh, he's gonna die.
right.
You know?
So Tyreese knows, but he doesn't say anything, kind of right off the bat.
Yeah.
One, because obviously Rick just went on this long tirade about you kill, you die.
Yeah, but also,
Probably not
Like-
the place in the middle of a
course,
firefight.
yeah, and also, you know what? He just solved a big problem by taking that
He did.
jerkwad out.
Yeah, because Dexter was going to kill them if they didn't leave.
Yeah, and just like in the show when he had to kill like the Mexican guy with the ponytail with the machete,
Oh,
that
right.
guy wasn't gonna listen, and he knew it, so he just killed him.
Yeah.
You know.
Unfortunately for Andrew, Dexter's prison boyfriend.
Yeah. He just bails,
Yeah,
and Rick's just like,
kinda-
fuck that guy,
he
basically.
hands over his weapons that he picked up from A Block,
Yeah.
and he actually bailed. He just takes off,
Yeah.
out the gate and is just gone. And there's an interaction where I think Andrea asks, "Hey, do we go after him?" Rick's like, "Nothing we do to him is gonna be any worse than what we do out there.
Yeah.
What happens out there." So.
Because that guy was not like anybody they needed or cared about, really.
Right, yeah.
So they're like, who cares?
Totally forgot about that.
Let
guy.
him go. Yeah, exactly. And it was a good way. If probably Kirkman was writing, was like, what am I going to do with this guy? Just have him take off, because I got no more ideas with him.
Right, yeah.
You know? He was an ex-junkie and gay. Like,
Right.
he was not... Like, what else are you really going to do with this guy? Are you going to redeem him? And, like, you know?
Yeah.
You're going to make him Bob? No.
Right.
Like Bob from the show?
Yeah.
The Builder.
So,
No, not that show.
jumping back a little bit, back to the
They could use that guy.
first page,
Yeah.
pages of the issues. We encounter this mysterious cloaked woman with creepy chains going back to zombies.
Yeah.
Their mouths are cut off, and if you're a follower
And
of the
arms.
show, and arms. Prior to reading the books, you know that this is Michonne.
Yeah.
And
She's like the Pam Grier of the apocalypse. You know?
no,
You're like, well, who's Pam Grier?
yeah, I
Is
think
that-
there's at least one of these in every episode. Where
I make a reference to
Now we've got
no
two.
idea.
yeah, we've got two this episode.
You
Yeah.
should keep a tracker.
Yeah. Pam Grier, she rose to prominence in the 70s as like a kind of a female action hero in the blaxploitation genre,
Okay.
and she's still going. I mean, Tarantino used her in that Foxy Brown movie. She was the lead in that,
Oh.
and that was his homage to those kinds of movies.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, yeah,
Cool.
Pam Grier, she's pretty great, prominent actress.
Yeah.
So.
But then we kind of lose track of her for a little bit because of this big fight at the prison. But we also have Otis kind of traveling at about the same pace with Michonne.
Yeah.
Otis is on his way to the prison.
Yeah.
He's gotten word that hey, it's time to come, and
To the prison.
to the prison.
Okay.
And he's traveling by cart and horse.
Yeah,
to
because
the
that's
prison.
fun.
Yeah. And as he's leaving, he's taking out some zombies.
For some reason,
And,
that makes me think of wasn't I the guy who played Barney Fife? Help me out. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Don Knotts.
Don
There you
Knotts.
go. Yeah.
I'm thinking like the Apple Dumpling Gang.
Yeah.
You know, like just like a cart and wagon, horse and wagon.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So yeah, they're traveling to the prison, and during the firefight, they both kind of arrive at the same time.
Yeah.
And outside the prison are, the walls are kind of lined with zombies. Or sorry, not the walls. The fences are lined with zombies, and it's not something they've been able to deal with yet.
right.
They tried to kill them with some of their weapons, but every time they stabbed one through the fence, it just kind of slipped out of their hands
Oh,
because
right.
it was stuck in their heads.
Yeah.
And so Otis arrives at the prison, and while everyone else is distracted by the horde of zombies that are inside the gates, he has to deal with the zombies outside of the gates, and he's alone, and he only has a few rounds.
Crap.
Yeah. And so he's taking a few out, and then click, 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 click. He has no more rounds, and so he's
Crap.
kind of screwed.
He keeps trying to fire.
You ever see like the old like movie serials or like just old movies where they empty their revolver and then they throw the gun?
Yeah.
You know, like
They do that to Superman a lot. They would
yeah.
shoot and they'd bounce off.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I see that a lot in.
Well,
They did that in a lot of the old Mummy movies, the old Universal Mummy movies.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, the bullets aren't stopping the mummy. They throw the pistol at it, like it bounced off the chest. The mummy strangles him. I'm like, what'd you do that for?
Yeah, you have like another like hammer-ish weapon if you.
A bludgeon, sure.
Yeah.
Or
cave its head in.
maybe where you had only 6 bullets, like you don't have like more in your pocket or anything.
Right.
So, but
I'll only need 6 to kill this thing.
They didn't plan it very well.
yeah. but that was such a weird trope of movies and television.
Right.
But yeah, anyway.
Yeah. So, as he's about to lose his life to this group of zombies, out of nowhere, this mysterious woman, shink, kink, plink, plink, kills a bunch of them with her awesome sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the use of sound effects. That was fun.
I sometimes do that.
Okay.
In real life.
Onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really awkward in public.
So we have this awesome scene of a couple pages of her just going to town on a ton of these zombies.
Word.
And I think it's just to solidify in the minds of the reader.
Oh, this character is a game changer.
Yeah, she's not someone to mess with, and she's a badass.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be kind of funny in a way if like this person showed up and then immediately just died?
Right? That
It's like,
would be
it's like
weird.
it's just no, but like it was just like a
like why did you bother?
Kirkman like crap. I don't know how I'm gonna get these people out of there. Just have someone show up and kill them all for them, and then they just die.
Yeah. like she missed one,
Yeah.
and it just devours her.
Oh man.
It's like in any space movie where they come up with a problem where it's like, well, how do they do this? It's like, oh, thank God they invented the don't disintegrate while being shot, blanket or whatever.
Or
Thank God she showed up.
Or the one character who you kind of forgot about for a while goes nuts and like sacrifices themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That character. Like the cook showed up. Oh yeah, and he sacrificed
saved the day, but died in the process.
Yeah.
So Otis and Michonne kind of show up at the prison. Kind of. They do show up at the prison. They're winding
It
down
really happened, man.
inside the prison, and so they get the gates open, and Rick is like, "What, Otis? How did you get here, man? Like, we were covered here in zombies. How did you make it through?" And he's like,
This chick with a sword, dude.
yeah, this crazy chick came out of nowhere and saved my life. And he's like, oh, what does she want? He said, look.
All of our stuff!
All she said is just somewhere to sleep. And Rick's like, yeah, we've got more room now than we ever had. Because he just killed 2 guys. Well, I guess he didn't kill
You killed one.
Thomas.
Yeah.
He killed...
Yeah, the other guy just bailed.
Yeah. Well, Thomas was the crazy, cut the woman's head off.
Oh, that guy. Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the junkie guy.
Unless you like old Herschel or the little girl from the series. He may have killed a lot more people.
Right, yeah. That's true.
All the zombies,
Yeah.
They're my friends.
Oh my gosh. Jeez.
So...
We'll get there.
One cool thing that I didn't really pick up on when I was reading was when Otis arrives, he arrives with a cart with 1, supplies, and 2 horses. That are going to be able to add to some of the next portions I want to read, or I want to talk about.
Yeah, they're going to start like tilling and like plowing and stuff.
Yeah, so...
whatever farmers do, they do it.
Yeah. So they've gotten rid of a major threat in the A block.
Yeah.
They've gotten rid of a major threat on the gates because of Michonne. They got rid of the crazy head cutting off guy, which was a major threat.
Yeah.
They got rid of Dexter, who was a major threat to their city.
His boyfriend bailed.
Bailed. And so right now, they have a little breathing room.
And stabilization is happening.
Absolutely. And so I just wanted to cover a few of those things.
Yeah.
They start building amenities for themselves. They find a library, which, I mean...
reading!
Is awesome.
Books!
Carol's really excited. Patricia's really excited about that, because I think Lori mentions that they have, like, 1 book between them, and they've all read it a few times already.
Wow.
Like, there's only so much you can do.
Or yeah, Lori was saying, like, how awesome they just went hog wild with the books at the farm.
Right, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So they find the library. Andrea comes into the kind of mess hall one morning with Axel, the big, like, curly-haired...
Oh, not from
prison.
Guns N' Roses?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
And not from Beverly Hills Cop?
No.
Okay.
Not him either.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
The prisoner.
Right.
I mean...
Patrick McGowan?
Yeah.
No, not that prisoner.
Oh, no.
The guy in the comic, Axel. Okay, good.
Right, yeah.
Thank you.
And Andrea's gathered up all of the kind of prison...
jumpsuits and stuff.
Jumpsuits. And she's creating new clothing for all of them.
Yeah. She's crafty.
Yeah.
She's just my type.
So she's making shorts. She's gonna... she found some, like, lining stuff. She's gonna be able to make some coats for the winter. Like, they're starting to plan ahead. It's
yeah.
really cool. What else did they find? Tyreese helped clear out that gym at one point by himself.
Holy crap. Was that last chapter?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he cleared out a gym and he was just sitting there. It was crazy.
Glenn and Maggie continue to get the lathes on.
Yep. Let's see. They start to till up the land to start a farm. With Herschel there, he knows how to work the land. He's going to be able to... they're going to have fresh fruit and vegetables. At least vegetables. I don't know about fruit.
Yeah. I feel like fruit is more complicated to, like, make it go.
Yeah, it probably just vegetables.
Or like berries, then maybe look at berries.
Yeah.
Sure.
Living here in Portland, we should plant berries more often, because think about those blackberry bushes that are just everywhere.
Dude.
Nothing's getting through those.
Nick, you might not know this.
What?
Right outside where I work at a warehouse, and right outside around the property are these blackberry bushes. And so once a year, there's blackberries on them, and I come home with big, huge things of blackberries.
Well, that's awesome.
No one wants
Right.
them.
Do you work in a warehouse like kind of off Airport Way?
No, I work down in Clackamas.
Oh, okay. Well, there's areas like that close to where I have too. So I totally know where you're talking. Like that kind of setup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it is pretty sweet.
Yay, Portland, an invasive species.
Yeah.
But you know, it's pretty cool because you can take them home and make blackberry shakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with that with the iced cream, yo.
Yeah.
I make
This
sangria
is such a
with
t-
it.
Yeah,
This
you
is
did.
whoa. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'm coming over.
Did
Yep.
you know that we were 40-year-old women?
Did you know that we have
Hey,
just
I
gotten
am
on a
proud of my
weird-
sangria.
Do you know we have gotten on a weird tangent?
Yes, we have.
Okay, that we should. Okay,
So my point was
maybe they'll make sangria too.
maybe.
was that they create a natural barrier, and they also provide food. There you go, blackberries.
Oh,
Get it?
you ain't zombies gonna be
Oh.
getting through that,
No.
yo.
I mean,
That's
Oh,
that's
wow.
actually a really good point.
Dude, good plan.
Yeah, with all the thorns and stuff.
Uh-huh. If they do get through, they're gonna be torn to shreds anyways.
That'd be more useful for
Oh,
like. Well,
what-
they'll get caught.
Sean, what was
Yeah.
the death metal band that had that song "Torn to Pieces"? Is it Cannibal Corpse?
Sure.
Torn to pieces.
Sounds like Cannibal Corpse.
It might be Cannibal Corpse. I can't remember.
If the vocals are like that, it's probably Cannibal Corpse. It sounds like a Cannibal Corpse type
No, no, it's Death.
song. Oh.
It's Death. I think it's from
Bumper.
It's from either their first or second album. It's from Scream Bloody Gore. That's what it is. Yeah,
Bon
yeah.
Jovi?
No, it's not Bon Jovi. It's Death. It's Death,
Oh.
the band.
Is that the one
Uh,
where they have the lead singers like where he like killed himself? They have that on the photo. No, that's Mayhem.
No. Yeah, you're thinking of Dead from Mayhem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dead's previous band, Morbid, was also really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, another tangent.
no
Okay.
tangent.
Okay.
We're done. Fine.
Nothing better than Gorgoroth though.
Gorgoroth is pretty sick.
That guy who fronted them for a while.
Oh, Gall.
Gall, yeah.
Yeah.
And I liked their earlier albums before Gall.
Well, the funny thing,
Because they were like kind of a little more overproduced and like blast beaty
Yeah.
once Gall came around. Like their
Mm.
first few albums were like more like the right stuff as far as black metal goes. But
the
anyway,
fun stuff about that though is like the members between the bands and the scene in the particular country would switch out.
oh
And
yeah,
it'd be like a complete revitalization of.
yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Sean,
And so,
is
are we
this-
going to get
Is
some
this
more?
black metal
Are we?
reflections or
are
is this
we-
comic book
Are we going to
reflections?
get some more characters this episode to sort of revitalize the storyline?
Maybe.
Oh, well, that's an interesting analogy you're bringing. It's a good way to bring it back.
See, I had a point too. That
Yay,
I pulled out of my
Sean!
ass.
Very good.
Figured
So, a couple more things that they have. I mentioned the
Can't
farm.
believe we went there.
Um,
That's great.
they also found a generator, which is going to be huge.
Right.
They'll be able to heat up sections of the prison during the winter. They'll have light when
Electromaturicity.
when it gets darker.
Yeah.
They are going to have to find gasoline for the generator.
Put on the gasoline. But yeah, I mean, but that's a solvable problem.
Mhm.
They can go on raids and find it.
Yeah.
So.
One thing that also happens with this kind of breather that they're having is a little affair between Tyreese and Michonne.
Oh, she
Scandalous.
She sucks his dick like it's going out of style.
Yeah, kind of just shows up and
Starts
Hey,
blowing him.
hey, yeah.
Just starts
absolutely.
blowing him. Yeah.
Um.
And good for her.
Because
Sean and I theorized before and not on show. Like,
you.
okay,
definitely.
let me context. We were over here watching The Walking Dead.
uh
And I texted Sean. I was like, I bet oral sex just kind of doesn't happen in the zombie apocalypse. Not a lot of showers, you know.
Halitosis is the thing you pointed out.
Well, like, in addition to that. But I'm
Yeah.
thinking, like, yeah, if you're, like, sweaty and gross and dirty, like, no one's probably, like, going to go down on you.
right.
But
But
Michonne,
proved wrong because Michonne does.
yeah. So, good for her. Yay. She's
however-
the hero of the apocalypse.
While that is happening, Carol comes around
And
the
totally
corner.
sees her slorking on him.
Yeah.
And... You okay?
Oh, this is great.
And we also find out later...
Oh, the tangents we go on.
She doesn't say anything, but later
No.
she's in bed with Tyreese, and she starts blowing him, and he's like, I thought you didn't like doing that. Also, we learned that Carol is lame. And he's, and then they break up.
Right. She wants him out in the morning. You can stay tonight. I want you out in the morning.
First of all, why would you say that, like, in the middle of the night?
Right.
God,
That's gonna make like a really uncomfortable sleep.
Yeah.
For
yeah,
everyone
like, you're not
involved.
going to sleep.
Kick him out then, or just wait.
Yeah, but stuff,
So transitioning a little
Yeah.
again. There's this weird, like, it's one page. It might even be like half a page.
Yeah.
And it's this weird interaction between Otis and Patricia.
Oh, yeah!
Otis is back.
He
and
just calls her out for being a nigger lover or something.
Yeah.
Quoting or paraphrasing, okay?
Direct quote.
Yeah, direct quote. That's exactly what he says.
Yeah.
I can't believe you sided with them.
Yeah.
Nigger lovers. I feel awful. So.
She said sided with a couple of niggers.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I was absolutely blown away by it.
First of all, a black girl just saved your life.
Right.
And like, what is with the really? You got time for this crap in the zombie apocalypse?
Right.
Really?
Yeah. After I read this section, I went and talked with Sean, and I came with the idea. I'm pretty sure in 3 generations, racism is gone after the zombie apocalypse.
If there's another generation, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, like, because you got bigger problems.
Right.
Like, than that one that is constructed by people.
Absolutely. Oh, whoa.
There went your notes.
Yeah. So the first generation, you have these, like, crazy people who are like, oh, it's the Jews' fault. You know?
You're right.
They carry the zombieism.
You know, and they're going to die.
Yeah. And their kids are going to be like, they're going to have, like, mild
Dad
racism.
was crazy.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you can't trust those Jews, but they're not bad people.
Yeah, here's the thing.
And then their kids would be like, who cares?
Because here's the thing. Institutional racism goes away when institutions go away.
Right, yeah.
So, because everything is being, like, destroyed and then built back up, unless there's, like, large groups of, like, let's make the darkies do all the work,
right.
That's not going to come together that way. So it's a tearing down and a rebuilding in a stronger way, I think.
Right.
So
and you can't have a group like that because you're gonna have to diversify or you're just gonna be screwed.
Or not be like, oh, you came from a different cultural or ethnic group than me before this. This is a new world.
Yeah.
And there's no time for that crap.
Right.
If you in your mind have time for that crap, you're dead.
Right. And we will get to
because
that.
you can't focus on that kind of garbage when there's so many other I need to make sure I don't die today stuff. So yeah,
we'll get to that point in just a little bit.
Okay, I'm
sorry. We'll come right back to it. It was great.
Okay.
So side jumping a little bit. While that's happening, the whole thing with Michonne and Tyreese is happening, and then the Carol thing, kicking him out of the cell with her and all that. Mm-hmm. But then Rick is walking by her cell, and we just have this large panel of a wrist flipped over the side of the bed, Sophia in the corner kind of freaking out, and there's blood pouring from the wrist.
I forgot about this.
And Carol's tried to kill herself.
Yeah.
She's immediately rushed to the infirmary to get fixed up in a way as best as they can fix her up. And Rick is kind of in a panic and he goes searching for Tyreese because he knows that her and Tyreese are this couple thing and he needs to let her know.
Yeah. Why does he need to know? Why is he being such a busybody about it? Like, yes, she's hurt. He can be informed, but the fact that he and Rick have this huge blow fight, like including that.
Well, so what the issue is? Rick doesn't know that Tyreese was cheating on Carol.
Oh, okay.
And so he was just out looking for Tyreese.
And then does he come around them fooling around again?
Yeah, he comes on and he sees them sucking face.
Yeah.
And this totally sets off this crazy fight between Rick and Tyreese.
Yeah.
Rick is accusing Tyreese of basically killing Carol.
Right.
If he at one point he says, if she dies because of this is your fault. Carol is already kind of
potentially
crazy.
Killing Carol.
Yeah.
Right. Potentially killing Carol. So they start fighting, they're arguing about things, and then Rick doesn't know where to stop, and he calls Tyreese out on killing Chris.
Yeah.
and how the way he killed Chris.
Oh yeah, because
because it wasn't just
because he killed him and let him turn and killed him again.
Yeah, brutally.
Yeah.
And so that raises the stakes for Tyreese.
Yeah.
And Tyreese calls Rick out on killing Dexter, which then informs the rest of the group that Rick has killed that Dexter didn't just die accidentally in a firefight. That Rickster.
The Rickster! The Rickaroony! Shoot Dexter!
Rick, come over here! Meet this chick!
Okay. Okay, sorry.
Dexter.
Rob Schneider took over for a second.
Oh, great.
You should expect that reaction if you accidentally give someone a nickname.
Dexter was murdered by Rick.
Murder was the case that they gave me? Oh.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The words become fists, and they start, like, Tyreese starts beating down on Rick. And Rick gets some good shots in. But after Tyreese brings up Dexter, Rick loses it, and he brings him towards, they're on the second level of the prison.
Yeah. And
Rick shoves Tyreese against the railing. Tyreese punches him, and they flip, and Rick goes over the edge.
And he falls.
Just a little ways.
Yeah.
Enough to be kind of pretty dang hurt.
Right. We have
he's definitely hurt.
Yeah.
We have a blackout splash page.
Yeah.
It was Lori trying to get Rick's attention. I think it was Lori trying to get Rick's attention.
Oh yeah, and so I think it's interesting.
I'm sorry. I missed a pretty vital part. So they, jumping back a little bit.
Yeah.
When they found the library, which was great, Alan went in with them. He was finally becoming useful again.
They were clearing out some stuff, and Alan got bit.
There was one just kind of laying, kind of hidden, and it bites him in the leg. And Rick, being the kind of leader,
he's like, we got to cut off his foot. That's the only way to save him.
And everyone's like, what? No. And he just starts hacking his leg off.
Yeah. And then Herschel's got to, save it, cauterize it and all that.
Right.
But yeah, that was intense.
Unfortunately, Alan loses too much blood, becomes, I'm pretty sure, septic, and dies.
Yeah.
And Andrea comes out, and she's kind of given this new responsibility of taking care of Alan's boys.
Yeah.
And so she comes out, and she informs everyone, after Rick has fallen over the railing, Rick, being the kind of guy that he is, puts his fight on hold to go take care of Alan, to deal with the fact that he's going to turn.
Yeah.
And he turns back and he says this really kind of dickish thing to Tyreese.
Yeah.
He lets everyone know that he's going to take care of Alan, and he says, I'll shoot him. I don't want anyone else to have to do it. He turns and looks at Tyreese and says, unless you think I'd enjoy that too much. Because Tyreese had accused him of having bloodlust in their fight. But no one else gets up to do it.
Right.
So
he's got to take care of business, yo.
Whether or not Rick is right or wrong for killing Dexter, whether or not Rick was right or wrong about hacking Alan's leg off,
he's right about this. And he's the only one stepping up to take care of it.
No one else is stepping up. No one else is there to deal with the stuff that they have to that the group has to deal with.
Right.
But after he shoots Alan, he blacks out, and we have this awesome full splash page of just black panels.
Right. It's interesting that instead of a single black panel, they break up into 4 black panels.
Right.
So, but that's cool.
I think it's
you know what, that gives the effect of time elapsing.
Time passing, yeah.
Yeah.
Because on the bottom one here we have Rick.
Yeah.
Someone asked me, trying to get his attention. And we have Carol there. They're kind of in the same kind of hospital room.
Right.
And Carol is still lost it. She was crazy last chapter when she kissed Lori.
Mm-hmm.
She had dealt with a lot of stuff. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't crazy stuff that like they all deal with. It was,
Right.
something
But
else.
she's looking to make connections with other people. She's
Right.
needing someone to bond with in an emotional and sexual way.
Right.
But
People have needs.
and at the same time she's withdrawn. She's not. You don't see her spending a long time and taking around her daughter.
Right.
Sophia
Yeah.
is basically essentially being neglected.
Mm-hmm. And so she kind of talks to Rick a little bit, and then she plants one on. She kisses him.
And he's like, "What the hell?" And
Whoa.
she's like, "Well, you don't have to tell Lori." He's like, "I'm gonna tell Lori."
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
There's no question I have to tell Lori. And so Rick makes his way out of the hospital cell.
Yeah.
Again, it's not really a room.
Right.
It's a prison cell.
Yeah.
You know? And he's kind of confronted by
Dale.
And this kind of this is like a slope to the end of the chapter. Dale comes to Rick as diplomatic as Dale can be.
Yeah.
He's the one that's always kind
He's
of
being Dale.
Yeah, he's the one that's kind of breaking the bad news to Rick.
Yeah.
He did that with Shane. He did
Yeah.
that earlier when he was kind of questioning Rick's leadership choices, questioning Lori, just kind of like all the things that need to be said. Dale's there to say them.
Yeah.
It gets Dale in trouble with Rick sometimes, but there's that mutual respect where Rick sees that someone has to call him on his shit, and Dale gets kind of away with it a little bit. Whereas when Tyreese did it, they fought, you know.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they have the same level of respect for each other yet.
Yeah.
And so Dale comes out and he says, "Look, as a group, we've made a decision, and you can't be our leader anymore. We've decided on a committee. You're going to be on that committee."
Yeah.
But everything is going to be more democratic.
Yeah.
And we're going to deal with the things that
Yeah. Now, I haven't... You and Sean have both read ahead in The Walking Dead. I'm still going, reading each chapter before.
I'm current.
Good for you, Sean. But you get a cookie. But if you recall on the show, the committee doesn't last too long, and then it becomes the Rictatorship.
Right.
And, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you guys know I don't know yet. So.
Right. And so he's replaced by this committee, and he's like, you know what? Fine.
And then Princess Leia says, "I am not a committee!" Oh, sorry.
He says, fine, you want a committee? I'll give you a committee. I will be on your committee.
Pulls out his gun and says, "This is your committee."
He does not do that.
Oh.
But Dale kind of calms him down. He's like, look, man, you're cracking.
Cracker?
And, yeah.
Oh, wait, it's Dale saying it. Doesn't matter. He
You're
can,
cracking?
he can say cracker.
You could. It is our word.
It is. Oh, God.
We're just offending all the races tonight.
We haven't said anything about First Nation peoples tonight.
We haven't. We will leave them
Yet.
alone.
Oh, I was actually going to say something about bloodlust. I was like, that mean a lot different. It was like talking to a native guy. Bloodlust.
There it is.
Yep.
Now we're covered.
Okay. And it wasn't me this time.
It was more to say that it'd be super offensive if it was a native guy he said that to.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Where was I? Oh, so Dale kind of is like, dude.
His tomahawk is never dry. Oh.
Your cracks are showing. You are putting the group in danger, which is putting your family in danger. And when was the last time you really slept?
Yeah.
You're killing yourself.
Wait, Sean, do you have any jokes about Asian people? Just kidding. Go ahead. And just
Oh
go.
god.
I'm just kidding. This is
I don't
terrible.
want to hit all the reasons.
I know that you- I know.
We've left Pakistanis
It's like-
all along. No, I'm kidding.
I do know the origin of like the worst one,
I don't know if we should.
but
really
I don't
do.
want to talk about that because it's really disturbing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's so
And
bad.
it's not really used very often anymore.
Okay,
No.
tell me off show.
I will.
Off air.
Maybe.
Rick is killing himself being the leader of this group.
Yeah.
And I think Dale's perspective is, we need you around to lead this group.
Man.
We're forming this committee to make sure that you don't kill yourself leading us. I think that was the purpose of the committee, rather than making it a complete democracy kind of thing.
Yeah.
Rick's kind of going along with it. But then he makes his way out to the yard. Everyone is working. Everyone is contributing to the community that they've started to build. They're planting and
Yeah.
the tilled.
Michonne's giving blowies.
Yeah. Actually, we haven't seen Michonne for a little while.
No, I know. She just did it the one
She
time.
feels
But
awkward about it.
Yeah.
She
She
doesn't-
actually. Yeah.
She doesn't realize that there's like still relationship structures. She
Yeah.
thinks it's just if you want to do something, you do
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
You take what you want.
Little funny joke about my origin of me using the word blowies. Okay. Barbara Holm, the comedian, I had her on the show one time. I go to her show quite a bit. I consider her a friend. She wrote in some blog, said something about giving blowies, and I thought that was like the most adorable way to refer to that. I'm like, oh, blowies, how cute! Like, that's so sweet.
Sounds like something you tell a child.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that made it really weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like I read that and I was
That
just like,
kinda cute,
aw, like the cockles of my heart were like, oh, that's so cute. So anyway, that's where that came from. Anyway,
Not to Peter,
blowies.
not
I mean,
Peter.
really? What?
Another reference to
Okay.
So, Rick and Dale have their talk, and Rick and Dale move out to the yard, and we have the shots of them working. And Rick decides that he needs to address the group.
Yeah.
And I like, from my perspective, I thought Rick was going to be like, "Sorry, guys, I shouldn't have done what." I thought he was going to be apologetic, and it is the opposite of that, man.
Yeah.
He calls them out on all their shit. Not like their like relational shit. They're like shit.
He is the leader.
Kind of, yeah. Like, he's like, you guys gotta open your eyes. We're not gonna be rescued. There's no one coming to save us. This is it for us.
Man.
It's either kill or be killed. You don't want me to be the leader because I killed this guy? Fine. We'll do your committee. But know that I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect my family and me.
Yeah.
Other people are like trying to chime in, and he's like, "No, shut up! Don't interrupt me. I got something to say." What's his name?
That one guy. What guy?
Sorry,
What's his name? Identify,
I
please.
think Tyreese. I think it's Tyreese. He's like, "Hey,
Well, he's the only black
we're
guy
not
left at this
all
point.
savages here." And he's like, "What?"
Again, really offensive.
Rick, what did my notes say? We are savages. Think about what we've had to do already to survive.
Yeah.
Think about what we have to do on a daily basis. We have to kill things every single day. Things that look like people. Every single day we have to kill them. I'm paraphrasing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're surrounded by the dead. People are coming to kill us, to take things from us, because we have them. For no other reason. That we have them, they don't. They're coming to kill us. We have to be savages.
Word.
And then we have
Big
this,
double plate splash.
yeah, this
Rick
so
says.
cool. We don't have to worry about the dead out there, because we are the Walking Dead.
That's what.
Oh
this
my
comes
god! Oh, it. So
you didn't
if
think
you-
that was corny?
No,
Because I kind of did.
really?
Yeah.
I did
Honest.
not. Because at the end of that, I couldn't think of a better way to end that rant.
I mean, I will give you that. But I think I gotta say the title of the book.
Oh, well, yeah.
You know, the movie or whatever. I'm like, yeah. So.
I don't even care.
Okay.
No, I thought it was.
That's fine.
There's no better way to end.
Yes, Sean.
This chapter.
None given and none taken.
Yeah.
And that's really the end of the chapter, yo.
Yeah, it is.
And so I guess that's gonna be the end of this episode.
Yeah.
We can go more little
well, I got
side conversations.
We could.
How much time do we have to kill? Like 10 minutes?
Well, I mean, we have endless time, really.
Theoretically.
Theoretical endless time. Like tachyons. They're a theoretical, sciencey thing.
It is.
But that we were watching Star Trek before the show, and we were like, are tachyons real? Looked it up on Google. They're kind of a real but made up theoretical thing. And I was like, oh, they're the widgets of science. So,
next week or 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now, we'll talk about Walking Dead Chapter 5.
Which is entitled The Best Defense.
Yeah. And next week, you and I will we'll be back to more Silver Age Green Lantern.
Yeah, we will.
I think it's going to be issues 29 through 32.
Okay.
And awesome.
Yeah.
Guys have any dirty swears you want to say before I end the show?
Excelsior!
Oh, great.